welcome to a very special episode of Collider Movie Talk. Why is it so special today? We have a whole lot of stories, including ones you don't see here on the rundown. On today's episode, Black Panther has a premiere, Steven Soderbergh has an iPhone, and we get a new trailer for a movie that is from parent company Disney that involves a smuggler who might be up to no good, and his name is not Han Solo. Look at this panel joining me today, though. That is Mark Yodi Reilly, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God! You fooled me.
I didn't say anything that wasn't factual.
Something dropped. Well, happy to be here, nonetheless.
Not just yet. We don't have that Han Solo trailer, but a new fun trailer that we just watched together. Miss Brianne Chandler, Miss Movies from Film Therapy. How are you?
Hey, I'm Brianne from Film Therapy. I'm not a real therapist, but I play one on the internet just for that show.
That is good enough for me. If you can be ordained as a minister to marry people on the internet, you should be able to be a therapist online. That's what Brianne does, and that's what she's going to bring to us here today. Jon Schnepp, are you caffeinated enough?
I'm working on this like false chai, and then I got this coffee. I got like 4 or 5 cups here, but yeah, I think I just watched like 7 Paul Rudd trailers. I don't know which one we're going to talk about. They're all really good. They're fantastic.
It was an Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer that dropped, but before we get to that, I do want to cover that Black Panther had its premiere in Hollywood, California last night, and a lot of luminaries were there in attendance. A lot of people in our community were there as well, so I wanted to quickly share some of those reactions with you guys right now. You look at the screenshots that we took of some Twitter grad. Jay Washington up first. I think it's safe to say that Jay had a good time last night. It was just really cool to see so many people who've been looking forward to this movie forever. Dorian Park's another great guy you all should follow, and it's like you get to see people who've been anticipating this movie for months, for years, ever since before it was announced, to see it pay off as well as it does. It's really exciting. I know these are early reactions. These are people at the premiere, and you get very excited at premieres, and as soon as you get out, you want to tweet some stuff, but looking at all these reactions as I was doing last night from the comfort of my couch, Harloff was there. He was very excited about it. He just told us the movie's a little over 2 hours, and he had a great time. I'm hearing a lot of great things about the villain, about Michael B. Jordan in it. Danny Fernandez, another person who was in attendance last night. And last but certainly not least, look at RB3.
Nice.
That's our own Robert Butler III. I texted him last night. I said, look, dude, I'm really happy for you. T'Challa is the king of Wakanda, but you, sir, are the king of Instagram. Congratulations to RB3. So, Brianne, I don't know if you were following along with the action last night or if it was past the family's bedtime, but when you get a chance to look at something like this, does it get you even more excited for Black Panther?
It does get me more excited for Black Panther. I've been wanting to see this since I saw the first trailer, but you're right. I didn't get to get those reactions right away like most of you. I basically woke up at 3 a.m. when someone was kicking me out of my bed to see, oh, hey, why don't I check Twitter right now because I'm up. Might as well.
Yeah,
hey.
I was on the couch and I was watching. I was watching some sort of like Super Bowl coverage or something, and me and Molly are just kind of there, and I'm falling asleep, and I'm trying to keep my phone on me so I can see. And then once the reaction wave started coming in, Schnepp, I started to perk up a little bit, just seeing how positive people were about this movie. What does this do to your excitement level?
It raised it nominally because I'm already at like a 2,000, so I was like, God, I got to chill back. I got to ease back, and then like seeing everyone chime in and say that, you know, like what we all thought it was going to be. It was you know, sometimes you see trailers for films and you hear about films and you're like, I'm not so sure. But this one kind of already felt like they've got it together. They know what they're doing. Every single Marvel film has like fulfilled some area for each of those characters that like they're not hitting, you know. They're like, I was about to use a sports reference. I can't do sports references.
Oh,
they're not hitting.
I like this.
They're not hitting a bunch of strange, solid objects into a watery field.
Basket.
Huh?
Basket. See, I can't do it. Anyway, yeah, Black Panther. I'm going to see it tonight. I can't wait. I'm very excited. Yeah,
That's
the
what
X
you're talking
Games.
about.
That's what I was talking about. X Games, where all mutants are part of it.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm a bird man. The X Games, right? You're mutants.
Extreme
That's part of it.
sports. You are seeing it tonight, so
Yeah.
congratulations on that. I will
Yes.
not be seeing it until next week. Mark Reilly, when do you get to see Black Panther? And are you even more jacked now after seeing the premiere reactions?
I'm still trying to figure out when I'm seeing Black Panther next. However, yeah, I'm jacked for this. And I'm not, there's a weird feeling I have about Ryan Coogler and not being at all surprised by these reactions. Harloff put it best. He's like 3 for 3. Fruitvale Station and Creed are 2 incredible movies. And every time a new Black Panther trailer dropped, there was something that just like kind of gelled for me, and I was like, wow, this looks really good. The music choices, the shots, the effects. You look at the cast, you're like, yeah. And then I hear these reactions. I started going on the hashtag last night and went down a rabbit hole because I was not only following some of our colleagues, but I saw a lot of just reactions from people there reacting to it and how excited they were. People that I've never met in my life that were like tearing up off of people's reactions, how excited they were. This is a movement happening. I love to see it. I can't wait for this. This is very exciting.
Well, it's not the last piece of Marvel news that we have for you guys today, because this morning I got a text from Mark Reilly saying that a trailer dropped for Ant-Man and the Wasp. This was a surprise. I mean, you would expect, because this movie comes out July 6th, I believe, that they would want to start promoting it as early as possible, and it makes sense to attach this trailer in theaters to something like Black Panther. So now with Ant-Man and the Wasp dropping, it was really our first look at it. We saw some behind-the-scenes stuff already, but this is like them in action. There's a lot of cool stuff in this trailer. What was your takeaway, Reilly?
It looks like kind of like a buddy comedy going. There's like a vibe to it that I really like, that we're focusing on the Wasp. And I laughed out loud when it was like, oh, yeah, you didn't have that tech for those shooters in the wings, right? And he's like, no, I had it. And I just love that he's giving it to her. And this looks great. Now, no story. It's kind of like showing off the effects first and kind of like the world that we're in, and we're back in it. And Peyton Reed looks like he's done something special again. Yeah,
and it's one of those things, Schnepp, where it's like, we're rooting for our heroes. We just assume that everybody is going to accept the fact that, okay, these are the good guys, and we're rooting for them. Not the case in this at all. Everybody is after this technology, what Pym has. My favorite part of the trailer, because I travel a lot, and I like compact cases that you can take with you, that you can roll away. I love the entire building shrinking and then just being like a rollaway bag that you see when you're flying on a plane. What was your favorite part of the trailer?
Well, I got a nitpick about that one. That was the one part of the entire trailer that bothered me a little bit. I was like, what about all the little miniature desks now? When he like, is everything going to slide? I instantly thought, does everything
super glue?
Right.
Is everything like magnetically sealed? I need some answer, Pym. I need it. So that's what I thought. My mind instantly went to that. Yeah, there's tech for it. I should have just known. But I love the trailer. I watched it a couple times just on the ride here. It was so much fun. I mean, look, I love the first Ant-Man. I love the character Ant-Man. For those of you who don't know, me and an old college friend had done like an Ant-Man story. Like back when I was in college, I wrote it, he drew it. It was like, it was a character I never thought in a million years I'd see done right, especially on a big budget, in a big budget movie. Now I've got a trailer with the Wasp. It was like, why'd you give her wings? It's like everything about it's got that right sense of humor. I haven't seen Pena yet. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the full trailer. But this is just enough of a teaser for me to be like, wow, they've got it. The second one is better than the first, probably.
Yeah, there's just a quick shot of Michael Pena running, and I'm excited that he's back in the movie. Didn't get any Michelle Pfeiffer footage, which I wanted to see what she's going to add to the story, because you can surmise it's going to be a lot. But Brianne, the thing that the trailer kicks off with is Evangeline Lilly's character. It kind of one-upping Ant-Man and saying, like, I'm the Wasp. I might be even more badass than you, and I'm a big fan of that costume. What was your take?
My take originally is I'm really excited that Marvel has a female character in its title. Like, this is the first time we're seeing that, so that's really exciting as a woman. And I love Evangeline Lilly ever since Lost. Yeah. I too like the part about the building shrinking. It reminded me of when I was a teacher. I used to teach elementary school, and I had this box that was exactly like that. And now I'm thinking, how can I take that box and like make a little design around it? So I was very excited about that. That knife sequence when she's like running on the knife, I thought that was really
nervous.
Cool. Yeah, well, and knives in general make me nervous.
Yeah, yes. I don't like knives anyway. And then like if it's coming out, that was the first time, because when Paul Rudd is shrinking all over the place in the first Ant-Man, I never really felt like he was in danger. It's not a discredit to the movie, but I just feel like, oh, this guy's shrinking in and out. He's going to be fine. Then I saw the knife float, and I'm like, you could cut this person in half, Schnepp. It's precarious stuff being in a kitchen.
Oh, the knife scene, I wasn't really nervous about, but the giant Hello Kitty Pez dispenser. Yes. I mean, that literally I could not stop laughing. That was like reminiscent of the little miniature train sequence that they had at the end of the first Ant-Man, but this had that like next level, like you could take little tiny things. But yeah, exactly. It's like I love that thing of like making giant things. You know, I think it was so much fun.
Reilly, what's the bar for this movie, do you think, as far as box office expectations? Now, you saw the trailer. I don't think it's going to do what Black Panther is going to do opening weekend.
No.
I don't think it's going to get close to Infinity War either, but you're thinking maybe $100 million, $80 million opening weekend domestically?
Yeah, I mean, should we get Josh McCougan on here for a bet? I believe there was an old where he didn't think it would open past 80 million.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
So I'm going to go 100 million opening because I think we're going to come after Infinity War. There's going to be a lot of there's probably going to be a lot of questions as how does he fit into Infinity War? So what happens after kind of carries on. Remember after Iron Man 3, that came right after Avengers. So it was like everybody was so pumped to go see it. And Iron Man 3 blows up and makes $1 billion. I'm not saying Ant-Man and the Wasp will do that, but I think the hype will be real and people are going to go see it. So 100 million opening plus.
It did just under 60 million domestically, the first Ant-Man, when that opened. Also
60
in
million.
July.
Okay.
So, Brianne, do you think it's going to top its previous haul?
I think it'll top its previous haul, mainly because I feel like that was kind of a sleeper hit. Like, we didn't know exactly if Ant-Man was going to be this great thing that it was, and therefore I think people will be more on board for the second one.
Yeah, the whole trailer spent its time making fun of the name Ant-Man. Like, we changed the name, and so now, Schnepp, we're embracing this. The first movie ended up being a hit. This one's going to do a lot better, I think.
Yeah, I would say like 90 million. I don't know if it's going to cross 100 because it's a smaller film. I think it's going to take place before Infinity War 2. That's my guess. It's just it feels like it's like almost like a direct sequel to the first one where he's like under house arrest again. That's my vibe when watching this teaser trailer. Don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I think a lot of people who loved Ant-Man are going to go back and see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
All right,
I'm going to go with $90 million and $1. So that way, we're right there.
Price is right at you. Yeah, I'd say about 80, 85 million for this one opening weekend. It's just, I mean, it's in the middle of July, so there's going to be a lot of competition, and there is the possibility that people spent their money on Black Panther and Infinity War, and they may just want to wait and not spend their money on Ant-Man and the Wasp opening weekend, but we'll see how it plays out. In the meantime, we do have a rundown that I will neglect no further. Our first official story today involves Sam Raimi. Hey, he's done some comic book movies, and 2 of them were awesome. Sam Raimi is in negotiations to direct Lionsgate's adaptation of the Kingkiller Chronicles based on Pat Rothfuss's classic novels. Try saying that 3 times fast. Perfect. It was way back in 2016 when Lionsgate hired Hamilton star and creator Lin-Manuel Miranda to serve as a creative producer and musical mastermind on the feature film and TV series adaptations along with Rothfuss. Mark Reilly making me say that again.
Sorry.
The film script is being penned by Lindsay Beer, who served as a writer on Transformers: The Last Night. It will be based on the first book in the series, The Name of the Wind. This all comes from Variety. So, Brianne, I'm going to kick off with you here to help us parse through this story a little bit. Sam Raimi, The Kingkiller Chronicles, Lin-Manuel Miranda. What about this story caught your eye first?
Well, the first thing I immediately did was call Rachel Cushing because I saw that she tweeted about it, and so she knew something about the books, and I was like, girl, what can you tell me about this? So she told me that unlike other fantasy stories, this author specifically wants to do a trilogy, which she particularly likes because then that means we're closing up this story and we're not going to have to worry about what's going to happen later, or maybe we haven't finished writing, although the 3rd book has not come out yet and we're still waiting on that. The last book came out in 2011 and the first one I think came out in 2008. So the first one is The Name of the Wind and the second one is The Wise Man's Fear. And this is kind of like, I would say, Interview with a Vampire, where this guy comes into this inn and he recognizes this person who's kind of like trying to go incognito because he's like the most famous like wizard of all, and then he wants to interview him and find out his whole life story and why he's here now. So that's kind of the background behind this.
Are they gonna like have
in some way, if I didn't
like I'm
watch
the innkeeper and they're like, tell me a story about your travels? Is it
I
like
hope so. It's a musical, right?
Yeah,
Lin-Manuel
but like then
Miranda,
you
I
could
would love
actually
that.
drink beer too while you're like the Kingkiller's Chronicles. I'm all in. That's why I don't know why I'm singing
would
like
love
that.
that,
Like,
but I
but
don't.
Lynn, do some much better job. As long as he's doing the music, Sam Raimi rocking it. That sounds cool. Doesn't he? He's like got a little mandolin on him, like in the back there.
You're not too far off, actually,
Right.
because Miranda also wants to develop a stage production of the Kingkiller
Yes.
Chronicles.
This is a hot property for him.
Yeah, but it's like this thing, which I never heard of. I know that the books have combined already. They've sold over 10 million copies, but I hadn't heard of this. it's a movie. All of a sudden now it's going to be a TV series, a stage production. Is it too much that we're greenlighting right now on somewhat of an untested property, Schnepp? Or do you have enough confidence that the 10 million people who bought the books are going to be able to sell everybody else on this is something you need to see?
10 million people didn't buy the books technically. If
Well,
you made $10 million. So let's
I just have a question. What is the guy's name again? The guy who wrote it?
Peter Rothfuss.
What is it?
Rothfuss.
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 I just
Yeah.
want to hear you say that again.
Rothfuss.
Look, I think it's going to be a big hit. You know, I mean, it's like especially if it's going to be a musical. Like if the movie
I don't know
is
if it's
going
going
to
to be a musical though.
All right, well, I'm not.
I mean,
seeing
it would
I'm
be
not
great.
seeing it
I would
then.
love that, but
Like
I don't know if it's
Roca
gonna
isn't going
happen.
to see it. I'm not going to see it. So I'm like, look, like I would like it to be a musical just because I haven't read anything about it, and I'm just going with that today. Just
Okay,
today,
great.
maybe I'll change my mind.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Reilly, what are you hearing about Manuel's involved? I mean, is this going to be something where he wants to exec produce this and then eventually get it to stage, and that's really where his passion lies? Or do you think that there's going to be musical numbers in the movie or TV versions?
Well, you don't bring in Miranda if there's not some kind of centerpiece of music. So I feel like he might be creating some music that might fill the background. Like if he is walking around with
he's
a
the composer.
Yeah.
He's
for
the
this
composer,
Showtime.
so he's going to throw some nice flavor in there, like some old timey flavor. It's interesting to me that he does want to do a stage play. 10 million people or 10 million books sold. How many that doesn't sound like a huge
$10 million
kind of audience. $10 million dollars.
It's copies. It's copies.
Copies.
10 million
Well, there you
copies.
go.
That's right. It's a lot of readers.
So it's a lot of readers, and you know, it reminds me. I hadn't heard of the Game of Thrones books until everybody starts talking about the HBO play. So if we're going to have the same kind of groundswell of support for this thing where everybody's like, whoa, you got to read this. It's happened to me with Hunger Games. It's happened to me with Game of Thrones where you like go check out the source material and then it starts spinning and everybody wants to see it. Then maybe there's a stage play that can work, and then maybe there's a TV
Tales
show.
of
but-
the Kingkiller, the tales of the
then there's-
Kingkiller.
and then there's Schnepp doing his one-man show by
Yeah.
the fountain at the Grove.
Yeah,
So
I'm
hey.
busking outside at the AMC, checking out the Kingkiller Chronicles. Listen to me, tell them.
But
Yeah.
start with the movie. That's what I'm interested in
You
seeing.
want to kick off with a movie first.
I want to kick out with the movie. I want to see what Sam Raimi does. I want to see who they cast. I want to know the world. I want to know the mythology. I'm already kind of interested. If Rachel Cushing is saying this is like, whoa, we got to see this, I trust her taste. So maybe I'm going to go look into some of the source material. But I want to see the movie first.
Yeah.
You like leading off with the movie as opposed to a TV show?
The television show is going to be what happens a generation before the movie. So maybe leading up to that. And therefore, I think that could be where you might want to start. So then you have some background as to what kind of world we're going to be walking into for the movie.
Schnepp, have you ever been at an inn and somebody confuses you for a wizard in hiding and they want to interview you?
4 times.
A wizard who's also a musician. That's probably why Lin-Manuel Miranda was like, yes, musician, this is me.
Yeah.
I'm on paper right now.
Yep.
It sounds
I am
pretty good.
Kavoth.
Look, if his performance in Curb Your Enthusiasm is any indication, the guy is still ready for another stage production of something big. It could be the Kingkiller Chronicles, directed by Sam Raimi. Our next story involves a property that a lot of people have heard of, and that is Mr. Rogers, the guy who would come home, take off his cardigan.
Yeah.
Could be
Put
played
on
by
another cardigan.
Tom Hanks. Yeah, he put on another cardigan. He's just
Yeah.
like he had a weird dress code. Regardless of that, he is going to be played by Tom Hanks. This is according to Variety as well. TriStar Pictures has landed the worldwide distribution rights to the Mr. Rogers biopic "You Are My Friend," with Tom Hanks attached to play Rogers. Diary of a Teenage Girl director Marielle Heller is helming the pick from a script by Micah Fitzerman Blue and Noah Harpster. The film is inspired by the real-life friendship between Fred Rogers and award-winning journalist Tom Junod. In the story, the cynical journalist accepts an assignment to write a profile piece on Rogers and finds his perspective on life transformed. Production is set to begin in September, but no release date has been set at this time. Schnepp, does this news make it a wonderful day in your neighborhood?
Yes, it does. I grew up with Mr. Rogers. I love the TV show. I think it's that he's a standout person in real life as well as his TV show. So I think getting the most standout guy around, Tom Hanks, to play him, kind of a no-brainer. So when you hear that they cast him, you're like, well, it's about time. But you know, it's like I never even thought, I'd never put the two together. It's like chocolate and peanut butter. So I can't wait to see this film. Not that I've been yearning to see the biopic of Mr. Rogers, but I just think it's cool. I think, you know, they have a Sundance documentary debuted. I think it was called Welcome to My Neighborhood or something, along the same thing, telling the real life story of Mr. Rogers. So it's about time. I mean, I don't know if you kids who are like maybe you didn't watch Mr. Rogers, you were watching like Pokemon or something. Go back to as an adult now, just watch a couple episodes with King Friday and stuff. It's like a soothing, cool show where it's like it's okay to learn. Kids, it's okay to be friends. It's so everything about it was like it just taught you how to have good social mores. So I think it's a great thing. I'm happy to see that they're making it.
I have a question. Will we see Mr. Rogers be a sniper in the military? It's a prevailing rumor out there. He was in the military of some sort, and then there's this rumor that like he's got the most confirmed kills of any sniper in military history. That's the movie I want to see.
Get out.
Is that the movie we're gonna get, Brianne, or is this gonna be a little more gentle, touchy-feely? Just the story of Mr. Rogers that we know.
Considering it's called You Are My Friend, I feel like we're probably going to go with the gentler side. I'm really excited that America's Dad is going to be playing America's Dad, so I think that's really great. I also was talking with a few of you before this started saying how I really love Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, which is on PBS right now, which took over for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, because they're like, we need to bring this back, the Rogers estate, but we don't want to use actual live action characters because we want this to live forever. And so we're going to do it animated. So Daniel Tiger, one of the original characters from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, now has his own show.
Oh, wow.
Good on him.
Nice.
Yeah, Daniel Tiger.
Daniel Tiger, Mark Reilly. I hadn't heard of anything. I mean, I was aware of Mr. Rogers when I was a kid. I don't know if it was one of my go-tos. I was more of a He-Man kid. You sit me in front of He-Man and I shut up. You sit me in front of Mr. Rogers and I'm like, I see the train, I see the king. This is cute, but
wow, missed you, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like you, Schnepp, grew up with it. This is a show on Sesame Street. I was watching back to back to back to back growing up. So when when you hear Tom Hanks, like a tear was in my eye. I literally went, "Oh my God, that's perfect."
If he could pull off Walt Disney, I think Walt Disney's a tougher stretch for him, just as far as his look goes, than Mr. Rogers would be.
Yeah. But it's such you hear Walt Disney, and you're like, wow, that's perfect casting. It's Tom Hanks. This is perfect casting as well. So it's a comment on Tom Hanks. Yes, America's Dad is going to play America's Dad. This is so perfect.
I kind of want to see him now have his own show, like as Mr. Rogers, like in general on Netflix. I would love
Let's
do
it.
it.
Tom Hanks just fired up Facebook Live, and he just starts doing this, and he's just like, "Hey, neighbors."
Yeah.
And he just starts putting on the shoes. It's a wonderful day in the
That's
neighborhood.
why I wore a
singing.
cardigan today, guys.
This is great. This is like, this could be an Oscar nomination for him. This can be a feel-good movie. I like that it's going to be about the book, about the relationship with the journalist. So you're never, ever going to go wrong by casting Tom Hanks in a movie, and especially when it's Mr. Rogers.
Well, production is set to begin in September. We don't have a release date just yet, but you bring up Oscar, and if Tom Hanks is playing a role like this, because it's Hanks, you think, okay, well, it could, if it comes out the right time of year, be an Oscar kind of movie. Would you see Tom Hanks actually getting nominated for playing Mr. Rogers, Brianne, or do you think this is just going to be more one of those summertime, oh, it's nice to revisit this childhood favorite?
I think I don't know. Possibly. It just depends on where this is going to go. I'm actually more concerned about the casting of Mr. McFeely. Like, who's that going to be? Is that going to be Stanley Tucci? Like, I'd be really excited about that.
Mr. McFeely, you remember Mr. McFeely too, Schnepp?
No, I'm just thinking about Captain Kangaroo and where's my biopic?
There you
Mr.
go.
Green Jeans. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's get a
Now
song.
you're going way back.
I don't think it's gonna. In my mind, it's like I never think about like Oscar contenders. I mean, I guess if they release in September or October and send out a bunch of free screeners to people, maybe it'll get nominated. You know what I mean? It's like I just care about it being a good movie. So hopefully they do a great job with this because Mr. Rogers deserves it.
All right, we have a lot of Mr. Rogers fans here on the panel. I wasn't aware that people love the guy so much.
Stop hating.
I'm not hating. It was fine. It was
You're missing out, dude.
It was a little weird that like he came in and like he didn't like take off his shoes before they started rolling cameras. Like, why don't you just welcome them once you change? Why do you have to change?
Because he was trying to show you how to be a
Showing you how
real
real
man.
life
You
is.
take your shoes off when you enter somebody's house, Mark.
Oh, okay.
And you put your house shoes on.
Yeah, Mark.
Take off your outside jacket. You put on a cardigan.
That's right, Mark.
That's how it goes.
Certain rules and
Okay, it looks like I
coming
have some
into your
research
home.
to do. We'll be watching Mr. Rogers later on today. In the meantime, we do have opening this week, and it is Winchester. Look out, it's going to be scary. After the sudden death of her family, firearms heiress Sarah Winchester becomes convinced that she's haunted by the souls of those killed by guns. Winchester then decides to build an enormous mansion that's designed to keep the evil spirits at bay. When a skeptical psychiatrist, Eric Price, visits the estate to evaluate her state of mind, he soon discovers that her obsession may not be so far-fetched After all, Jon Schnepp, have you ever been to the Winchester House?
I have not yet been to the Winchester House. I regret that. I do want to go. I don't know if I want to go see this movie. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the Spierig brothers directing?
I believe so, yes.
I like the Spierig brothers. I wasn't that impressed with the Saw, whatever the new Saw, Jigsaw movie was.
Oh, no, then it's not.
But I'm saying I think the Spierig brothers did direct this.
Did
but,
they? Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, so
Thank God for the internet.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm still kind of holding out hope for it, because the trailer did nothing for me. And look, I love it's Helen Mirren, right? So I mean,
Helen Mirren, Jason Clarke is also
yeah. No, they're both top tier actors. Just the trailer didn't do anything for me, so I feel like it was kind of inert. So I was like, look, you have some really cool inventive directors. You have this great cast. You have a cool weirdo house, like, you know, gun nut crazy lady who's trying to like make up for all the murders and death she feels guilty for. I don't know. The trailer didn't sell me.
You know what else is not going to sell you?
What?
Going to the Winchester House.
Get out of here.
Really?
I'm from San Jose, so like this is our claim to fame.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Therefore, but
It's awesome. That house is awesome.
it is pretty awesome.
I went
She's
to a
made
murder
all these
mystery
weird...
there one time, and I was just very, very the whole night. It was Kirk Hammett's murder mystery, so I'm a huge Metallica fan. So my brother and I went, so we got to like meet Kirk Hammett and hang out. So that was cool. The murder mystery was like the San Jose Day players showing up, literally reading their script as they were performing. But
That sounds very San Jose.
They take you through the tour, and like the Winchester House, it just seems like it was built by somebody who was losing her marbles as opposed to any actual
She's trying to
haunting there.
outwit the demons. That's why she's doing all of that.
Okay,
And
do you
then
believe there's actual demons there?
Maybe, I don't know. But she's also, the reason they kept building is because it was her deal with the devil of, if I keep building, if there's always a hammer going or something constructing at the time, then the demons won't bother me. And so that was the deal. Like, if I keep building, they will leave me alone.
No, is it personal?
And supposedly she died when the last hammer stopped.
So, are you excited to see this movie?
No.
Because it's.
I'll see it eventually. But probably not in theaters.
All right, this is San Jose's.
I gotta save my
$15,
$15, guys.
You've been to the
Sorry.
Winchester House.
I've been to the Winchester House.
You survived.
I survived. I enjoyed my time at the Winchester House. It's kind of, you know, you walk up a stairway and nothing there. You just.
Oh, it's. I mean, the actual architecture of the house.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'm with you, Schnepp, too. I like when it was announced, we were talking about it on Nightmares at one point. We were like, oh, this is cool. We know the Winchester story. You know, ghost story, Winchester, great, all in. And then you see the first trailer and you're like, okay, all right. So we'll see. The thing that worries me is I know some people have seen it and the embargo is not lifting until day the movie comes out. So, you know, and what we do here when you hear that, you're like, but I still want to see it because I'm a horror fan and I love Helen Mirren and I got to see it. I got to support my one of my favorite genres out there. So
Yeah, look, I love a good haunted house movie. You want a haunted house in California, you go to the Whaley House in Old Town San Diego.
Ooh.
That place is haunted. Scares Regis Philbin. Not much scares Regis Philbin.
What's up with the Whaley House? You can't just bring it up. Who's haunting the Whaley House?
And who's Regis Philbin?
Is it
Mr. Whaley?
No, because they used to I think a bunch of kids like died there like in like the 1700s or something like that, and I don't know, they had the pox or whatever, but they I don't know what people
At the
got back then,
time.
but there's like a staircase that you walk up and you feel, and it's not like the Winchester House where they like, oh hey, come in this room, it's really cold, because you turn the AC down. Like you walk up the stairs and you can actually feel like a chill. And Regis Philbin was famous for staying there at night because there was this reported haunted house. And the next morning they go to pick him up and he's like, I'm never doing that again. Like he was, something he saw freaked him out.
Let's scare Regis to
Yeah.
death.
And
That's
they
a good
made a
movie.
horror movie about the Whaley House, and it didn't get a lot of publicity. It came out a couple of years ago, but is it better than Winchester? We'll find out this weekend. That is, if any of us see the movie. I don't know if it's going to happen. We're going to move on to agree or disagree. We got a couple trailers to talk about. First up is Steven Soderbergh is back, and so is his iPhone. That's right. Bleecker Street has released the first trailer for Unsane, a horror movie shot entirely on an iPhone by Ocean's 11 director Steven Soderbergh. The story follows a woman who's convinced she sees her stalker everywhere and who inadvertently admits herself to a psych ward, also known as Mark Ellis's worst nightmare. There, she continues to see her stalker and wonders whether she's actually crazy or if she's in grave danger. Soderbergh made the movie on the down low with the Crown star Claire Foy. Soderbergh will be crafting the marketing campaign himself like he did with Logan Lucky. Unsane opens in theaters on March 23rd. Brianne, it's a good way to save yourself a pretty penny if you just want to shoot your whole movie on the iPhone. What struck you about this trailer? Was it more the technological wizardry of shooting on an iPhone, or was it the actual story?
The actual story terrifies me, like you, Mark. I do not want to inadvertently admit myself to a psych ward. But I feel like this trailer, there was a point where I was like, if it stopped here, I would have thought, yes, I'm in, I'm going to see this. But then it kept going, and I thought, I feel like I've seen too much now, and I don't know if I'm as interested as I was at the very beginning of the trailer. Did anyone else feel that same way?
Reilly?
Or maybe you just didn't like it to begin with? I don't know.
You agree with Brianne's assessment of the trailer, that it kind of went on and on and on?
No, I enjoyed this trailer a lot, and the trailer, it was like all about setting the mood, and it worked for me. It like sucked me in, because you get the parlor trick of, hey, I shot this on my iPhone, and you're kind of checking that out, like, ooh, how is he setting this up? And then you're like kind of pulled in, and that fear, like, okay, well, it's creepy for me to think like you keep seeing the same guy around, and then you start, are you losing your mind? And then it's like inadvertently putting yourself in a psych ward, and you're like, what? Did I? No, this is, and you like conspiracy theories, and everybody's like, no, you're supposed to be here. That is my nightmare too. It just was something. You couple that with Soderbergh, I'm in. I just want to see this movie now.
You know, Schnepp, a couple of years ago, they might check you into a psych ward for saying you want to shoot an entire movie on your phone.
Right.
But the way this thing looks, it's beautifully shot. So did you agree with Mark Reilly that this thing is going to be one weird, twisted ride?
Well, I love Steven Soderbergh for always pushing the envelope, always doing experimental films, doing his own films. I mean, so much respect for this guy. And glad he didn't give up. I remember he was like, I'm retiring, because, you know, the world of cinema and like just big corporations, it's a money machine, and that's what they really care about. So if you're an independent filmmaker, you need to push yourself to make your own films, or group together with people who've got money to make these kind of films. So hats off to him for even doing this. But yes, when I heard he shot it with an iPhone, we've already been there, done that. For myself, Tangerine is a perfect example. It's a fantastic film by Sean Baker. Check that out. There's already been a bunch of iPhone movies. So the iPhone, we all have one. So it's like sort of like, yeah, we have this amazing technology. I was afraid when I heard it was going to be like weird phone kind of shaky cam stuff. So the minute the trailer started, I was like, oh, cool, he's treating it like a movie. So I didn't need that, went away the first 3 seconds. Then I got sucked into the storyline, and like, you know, I myself have checked myself into a psych ward at least 7 times. Just yes, I'm insane, and they just push me away. They're like, we don't have room for you, Schnepp. Come back next week. So
wait, you're that musical wizard.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'd be that guy who get punched in the face. I felt like, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, that dude is like, hey, I've been feeding you those pills. Smack! He's like, come on, lady, why don't you relax for a second? I'm not that guy with the beard. You know what I mean? Like a woman's going crazy.
You don't know who
It's
to
hard
trust.
it's hard to tell. So many
like,
guys with beards
Yes,
around
too many
all the time.
beardos.
Is this a Nurse Ratched situation, or are you actually trying to help me? That's my biggest fear in life. That's why this trailer spoke to me. The iPhone thing is cool, but you really forget that it's shot on an iPhone when you get deeper into the story of this trailer. I'm just worried I'm going to go visit like a relative or somebody who's in a psych ward. They're going to be like, oh, Mark, just come into this room. We just need you to sign some papers. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Old gambling man Mark Ellis, sure. Where do you want me to put my John Hancock? And we just want you to talk to this person for a minute. And then all of a sudden the door locks, and you're like, wait, I can leave anytime I want, because then you act crazier because you're nervous. And then they're like, see, we told you you were crazy. I'm like, the only reason I'm acting crazy is because you're making me crazy.
But you don't even have to go to a psych ward.
You're making me crazy.
That piece of paper you signed this morning, there's guys in a van coming right now to get you. Like, remember that? I was like, yeah, I need you to sign this.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I just had you sign yourself into a psych ward this morning.
I knew I shouldn't agree to the latest terms from Apple. Damn it. All right. Going to do one more agree or disagree, then we'll call it a day before they take me off in the paddy wagon. That would be another trailer for Submergence, starring James McAvoy and Alicia Vikander. Lionsgate debuted the first trailer recently. It's a romantic drama from Wings of Desire and Paris. Texas filmmaker Wim Wenders, based on J.M. Ledger's 2013 novel Submergence, is about two lovers who met by chance, played by Vikander and McAvoy. They're preparing for dangerous missions, respectively. She's heading to the bottom of the ocean in search of evidence about life on Earth, and he's a British Secret Service agent about to embark on a mission in Somalia. As she descends into the depths of the sea, he's taken hostage by jihadists, neither knowing what's to become of the other. It hits theaters on April 13th, and Reilly, this trailer.
Yeah.
Woo, boy, this is an emotional roller coaster. You
Really
feel like
was.
taking the ride?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might have to go to the dentist that day when that thing comes up. This thing, woo.
That would be a highlight of your
yeah,
day.
it's well, one, you read this description and you're like, huh? Well, okay, so she's going to the bottom of the ocean, he's going to Somalia. Okay, I guess I got to see this in the context of the story. I mean, you got two fantastic actors, so you have that going for you. I don't know any of the work that Wim Wenders did, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm new to this. I like the trailer somewhat. It's interesting to me. I know that this is more of a heady kind of movie. There's going to be some symbolism in there. Why is she going to the depths of the ocean? She sees something. She's like, you can see new life here, and then it's like he's. In Somalia, gets taken hostage, falls in the water, and there's like a connection there somehow, mythologically. I don't see. I'm confused here. I just use mythologically in this, and I don't know what to think of this.
Reilly is confused, Brianne.
Yeah.
Do you agree with his confusion after watching this trailer?
I'm glad I could set that
Do you
up there.
think that do you think that the storyline is more clear cut than what poor young Reilly is seeing?
I don't know if it's more clear cut. I know that it's not for me. I really cannot take this, mainly due to claustrophobia. I have a scuba certification. I did that so I would get over my fear of claustrophobia, and it just made it worse. But so I don't want to go to the depths of the ocean with Alicia Vikander because I just don't want to be there. If I'm going to be there, I'd rather it be the abyss. And maybe all of this is just the first 10 minutes, and then we get into the abyss, and then I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
I don't think
Guys.
it's going to play out quite that way.
Darn
but
it.
I mean, maybe you get lucky. McAvoy is a Secret Service agent. He's British in this. Schnepp. This is kind
It
of
looks
like
beautiful.
James Bond's worst nightmare. You know?
I just want to one up you and say you should watch The Descent. I don't know if you've
Oh,
seen
I've
that.
seen The Descent. I've
when
seen
they're
a
like
lot of
crawling through
claustrophobic
this,
things,
that would like
okay?
activate your claustrophobia. Be like,
I don't know why I do
throwing
these
stuff
things
at the,
to myself,
Why am I
but I do.
self-torturing? Well, look, I'll tell you this: if you haven't seen any of Wim Wenders' stuff, check out Wings of Desire. That's one of his greatest films. It's an incredible film about angels. It's just, I mean, it's fantastic. Paris, Texas, with Harry Dean Stanton is another one, a standout film. Wim Wenders has done a lot of amazing, beautiful work, and it was really nice for me to see a return to. I haven't heard his name for a while. Wim Wenders. And so it was nice to hear his name again, and then to see this trailer and feel like I felt a very emotional core. Like as I was watching it, it feels like it's going to be a beautiful slow burn about romance and about love, quick love, and then being torn apart. So like you could find your soulmate even for an instant and share a weekend, and then the rest of your lives go off into some feel that connection is probably what the film is about to me. So I would say get ready, bring a box of tissues. You're gonna cry, and it's like it feels like an emotional return, at least for me, with Wim Wenders, and the actors are great. James McAvoy, Alicia Vikander, they're great with this kind of material. So to me, I'm excited to see it.
You're excited to see Submergence. Do you think they're going to get back together at the end, or do you think?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, I would hope not, because if you're seeing like a film, especially just check out the other films I just mentioned, it tends to be a little more realistic, but I don't know. It's like
It's going to be like Dear John,
Yeah,
where they just can never be together.
I have no
just spoiled
idea,
Dear
or
John,
maybe
and
they're
I'm
like,
sorry.
How dare you?
yeah. I don't know if they're going to get back together. I would like, when I'm watching it from the trailer, it feels like it's probably not going to be like, and then they lived happily, the ending with like, and they married, or something like
Yeah,
that.
they're skipping off in a field as
Yeah.
the credits roll. Probably not going to be that kind of ending. Check out the Submergence trailer right now. A lot of cool stuff to check out on Collider Video as well. Yesterday, an all-new episode of Collider Heroes dropped, hosted by that young man right over there, the sweatiest of the sweaties, Mr. Jon Schnepp. What would you guys yap about?
Oh man, we just talked about all these kind of movies like Black Panther and stuff. Don't worry about it. You don't need to see it. It was total excitement. Everybody got super sweaty. Just check it out. It's fun.
And Black Panther has a big article right now on Collider.com. They got to do a set visit, so there's a lot of little tasty nuggets about the movie. Nothing spoiler territory, so feel free to go check that out on Collider.com right now. As well as Perry and Roca did a first reaction of all the Black Panther reactions that were coming out of the premiere last night. That's up on the channel, and you can also check out yesterday's movie talk where we speculated whether Indiana Jones could actually bite the dust in Indiana Jones 5. I'm sorry, I didn't warn you about that ahead of time.
Yeah,
I think he's going to make it out just fine.
That's scary.
Going to be okay, Indy. We are going to issue mailbag because it is time for live Twitter questions. We love hearing from you guys. First and foremost, go ahead and start tweeting us at Collider Video. You can use the hashtag Collider Movie Talk. And our first question comes from an old favorite who we haven't heard from in a little bit, so let's bring him back on here. That is the one, the only Mr. Rocky Drago 66. Rocky Drago 66 asked, if Rebecca Ferguson is as well received in the next Mission Impossible as she was in the last one, do you think that Paramount could move forward with a spin-off featuring her character in the lead? I love this idea because Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise, as much as we all love Tom Cruise as an action star, he's not going to be running that franchise forever. And I think that in the last couple of movies, they've hinted as much that he's building another team around him and somebody could supplant him as the lead. It looked like Jeremy Renner might be the guy in Ghost Protocol. Doesn't look like that's panning out anymore. Maybe Henry Cavill's positioned to do that in this one, but I think Rebecca Ferguson might have the best shot. Do you see that as the best marketing strategy for Paramount going forward, Reilly?
I think it's a fantastic idea. I would go even further, and I would love to see her lead a movie and have like Simon Pegg's character in there and Ving Rhames' character kind of offering their support like they did when maybe Ethan Hunt retires finally, because Tom Cruise keeps breaking ankles and jumping off buildings. He isn't going to be able to do this for, for all of his life. We might get another Mission Impossible after this with Tom, but I think Rebecca Ferguson, who did steal that movie, I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it was just such a cool scene that they set up in Mission Impossible 5, where they're at the opera and they're just running like in the cat like up and all the strings that they're pulling and stuff. It's a great fight scene. Rebecca Ferguson, like Reilly said, stole that movie for portions of it. Do you think that you would want to go see a Mission Impossible spinoff featuring her character in the lead, Brianne?
You know I would. Oh my gosh. Why are you even asking that? But yes, I love Rebecca Ferguson. Loved her in The Greatest Showman. And I just had to bring up The Greatest Showman because it's my favorite movie.
How many times have you seen The Greatest Showman?
4 times. Okay. Once was the sing-along. That was fun, but it was only like 6 people in the theater. So
this is
I was
what I'm
like,
telling you, is that people see this movie like 10 times.
That's like Rocky Horror Picture Shows, like you and Roca dancing in front of the screener. Yeah, what's going on, man?
Oh man, I got to do that sometime.
They're gonna have like people. I swear to God, it's gonna be Rocky Horror Picture. Everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm the guy, P.T. Barnum, we're my little tigers."
This is the greatest show.
Oh, wow.
All right, there we go.
But you're saying that you would pay at least once to see Rebecca Ferguson. Maybe not
as
4
a
times.
kick-ass spy? Yeah, totally.
And look, at Paramount, we talked about this yesterday, is at Paramount, they're looking for other movies and they want to have tentpole franchises. We don't know what the future of Transformers is going to be after Bumblebee, Schnepp, so they're going to be leaning heavily on Mission Impossible. Is this the right move, or do you think it might be wringing that franchise a little too thin by having spin-off movies?
It's hard to tell. I mean, I'm looking forward to Mission Impossible Fallout. I think what Reilly said was great, but I actually want to go one further. I want to see like all 4 of them have their own standalone films that come out 1 month apart, and just like a Mission Impossible 4, 3, 2, 1 have Rebecca, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, and then the last one has Jeremy Renner and the whole team, like or bring in Cruise at the very end or something. I think because just remember, Mission Impossible started as a series, as a television series, so I wouldn't mind seeing a longer story. Like I'm greedy now because of Netflix and all these other streaming services, where I'm like, yeah, I could watch an 8-hour movie, bring it, So separate it, do 1 month at a time, make it all one big movie. I mean, come on, be smart about it.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
it might just be one big sociological experiment that Netflix is doing. Like, how long can we keep them binging for? Like,
Forever.
We're going to do 8 episodes, then we're going to do 13 episode seasons. We're going to do 20 episodes at once and just see who sits in front of their TV for 20 hours straight. I shudder to think as to how many of us would actually do that. Duncan Zuvich is our next questioner from Twitter, and he poses the question, in your guys' opinion, what is the best drama film? He personally would say The Place Beyond the Pines. Interested to see what we have to say. So, best drama like of all time, that's a pretty wide net to cast.
Right.
So I'm gonna cap it at of the millennium. So 2000.
Thank you.
On.
Because I was going to say, like,
best
Place Beyond the
drama.
Pines is a relatively recent drama. So for you to say that that's the best drama ever, did you see all the other movies ever that exist? Sorry, you can't really. I discount the question. I can't. It's like if you cap it, like you said.
Because he liked Place Beyond the Pines.
No.
Like Place Beyond the Pines.
It's not because he liked a movie. It's because he said the best of all time. That's inferring that he's seen every other film.
Well, yeah. So I'm saying I'm taking the question and I'm just massaging it a little bit.
Massage
and
it.
I'm saying, what's your favorite drama
from
2000 on? And I'm gonna massage it further and say that The Greatest Showman does not count as a drama for this category.
Why did you take my bit?
Damn. So
Don't
Steph,
burn it.
do you have a drama at the forefront of your noggin that's come out in the last 17, 18 years?
Yeah, it was earlier though, so now I got to go back and think because I was like 19. I was like thinking of a very specific later 80s film, but I was like, now I got to think about it.
What was your movie?
Yeah, that's
It was
a lot
Blue
to
Velvet.
think about.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna
Yeah.
rock one. I'm gonna go into the 2000s. Thanks.
I'm gonna go with like the hardest hitting drama because sometimes you just like to be so stirred emotionally and it takes you to such a different place and you're like, oh yeah, that's why I don't want to marry anybody. Blue Valentine.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh boy,
yeah.
because not only does Blue Valentine really upset me emotionally, but it also you never want to be that guy. And I think we talked about on the show before where Ryan Gosling's character when he goes to her work and starts freaking out. That's the fear I have. It's because then they will commit you to a psych ward because you freak out at the dentist office or wherever Michelle Williams' character worked, and then he's going crazy and he's just yelling. And all of a sudden you're like, "Who have I become? This relationship is driving. You're tearing me apart, Lisa."
Oh, I understand that reference.
Thank you
I like
very
that.
much.
Best drama 2000s. Lost in Translation.
Nice.
I love Lost in Translation. Sophia Coppola, Bill Murray nominated, should have won, in my opinion. I remember him, clapping. I don't know who won, but he didn't, and he just was like, I could see it in his face that he thought he should have won. But Scarlett Johansson was fantastic in that. That movie is, I just love it. And I did a little internet search, and one of the movies that popped up, I just watched. I guess you could call it a drama. 500 Days of Summer.
Huh. Weird.
I just revisited that,
yeah.
and I just adore that movie so much. It popped up on dramas, and I'm going to stand behind that one
I
as
liked
well.
it all the way up until the bench scene at the end. So I'll just say that. I'm like picky about certain things. But like,
spoiler
I'll throw
alert.
two of you. No one knows what I'm talking about. What do you mean the bench? You ruined it. Watch the movie and shut up. Room. I'm going to pick Room, Brie Larson's Room,
Oh,
and I'm going to
yeah.
pick Bronson.
Oh yeah,
Bronson.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Nicholas Winding Refn's. Just two out of the blue ones. Because Place Beyond the Pines is such a weird pick for me. I'm going to get weird with this dude. Go watch those.
You know what's great about Place Beyond the Pines? You really see what a powerful actor Ben Mendelsohn is. I mean, there's a lot of great performances in there, but
and it was
he
an
is so
unexpectedly strange. Like it really like went here, then there, then here. Like
Yeah.
I love that movie. That's very
movie's
underrated.
fantastic.
Very
And
underrated.
Gosling wears a Metallica shirt for part of it.
You know it, baby.
Yeah, man.
Brianne,
This
the
is
best
a really
drama.
hard question
That's why,
for me.
That's why.
I have to have like prep time to do this. I can't just come up with it out of the sky really quickly because then I'll think later and be like, I should have said this.
Well, I'm not
Oh.
saying Blue Valentine is like my favorite drama. I just think that's the
Okay,
one that
that's a
pops
good
into
one.
my head. So
Because I'm thinking of things that are older. Like I would go with Casablanca as one of the best dramas.
I'm gonna
Or
check
The
and see
Thing,
if
even though
Casablanca
that's a
came
horror
out in
film.
2000 or more.
Yeah,
That's
no,
definitely a
it's
70s film.
I
Wait a
mean,
minute.
and I would go with The Devil Wears Prada, but
There
that
we
could
go.
be a comedy drama,
Yeah, but
dramedy.
he threw in 500 Days of Summer,
Okay,
which is
we'll go
like
with Devil Wears
borderline drama. So I can give you Devil Wears Prada.
And Gran Torino is the only other one that I was thinking of.
Ooh,
that
Gran Torino's a
I
good one
really-
too.
that
Yeah.
I really liked.
Okay. Just to clear up some things real quick, Reaction Rocket says, so we all learned today that Mark Ellis never watched Mr. Rogers growing up, and suddenly a lot of things make sense. I was aware of Mr. Rogers.
Damn.
What, am I not taking enough clothes off on camera
Wait,
for your
that's
Reaction
not
Rocket?
what Mr. Rogers
You
is
see
all
that
about.
he goes in, he undresses a little bit, and I'm like, I prefer to watch He-Man. Sorry, that was my show.
Are we not allowed to take off our jacket? Is that what you're
He
saying?
puts on a sweater, Mark.
And his shoes. He like untie his shoes.
While
and then-
he sings a
I'm
song
gonna
to
take
you.
off my shoes.
About your
it's
neighborhood.
No, thank you. I'll take He-Man. I'll take G.I. Joe. I'll take Transformers. That was my childhood. But thank you. I was aware of Mr. Rogers. My parents gave me the option, and I was like, I'll take Muppet Babies. Thank you
Muppet
for playing along.
Babies.
Our last question is one that is aimed at one person on this panel, particularly. Anything Geeky says that they miss Cal the Schmo Dog. When is going to be the next appearance on Collider Video or Schmoes of Cal the Schmo Dog?
Well, he's in the office today, so maybe we can make something happen.
He's
I don't know.
tweeting.
He's
Currently.
obviously tweeting, yeah.
Let's shoot an Instagram video and throw it on Collider Video.
Oh, yeah. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, get on your Instagram and you'll see a Cal video.
Oh yeah, Cal's ready and willing. He's always camera ready.
Do you find Cal, like, does Cal change his mood depending on what movie? Because I know you guys watch a lot of movies, like, you know, in your downtime. So is he always just like, is he nappy, or like, are there certain movies that he gets really excited about?
You know, it's funny because last year we were watching Rogue One, and a picture just popped up in my memories where he was like on the couch with his arm out, and he was watching the movie.
Nice.
So I think he's a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, he's a Star Wars dog.
He's a big Star Wars fan, obviously a Superman fan. He's Kal-El is his full name. But most of the time he likes to sleep and then just, you know, go to the other bedroom and sleep, and then he'll come back and get on the couch and sleep. And then he'll stare at us while we make dinner.
But I like that you give him the choice. Mark was telling me, because I was like, "Where's Cal today?" And you were like, "He didn't want to come in." Like, you give him the choice. You're like, "You want to go, buddy?" He's like, "Nah, son, I'm sleeping." Boom.
He definitely.
Yeah,
if I open the bedroom door and he runs back in, he ain't coming.
It's like Ferris Bueller. He just fakes being sick, so he doesn't have to go to work.
Oh my God. He's like, key to faking out the parents is a clammy pause. It's a good non-specific symptom.
That's right. Cal is at a Chicago Cubs game right now. He's catching a foul ball. I want to thank everybody for tuning into this episode of Collider Movie Talk. We always appreciate your support, so feel free to leave a comment on the YouTube channel. Subscribe right here if you haven't already. And a huge thanks to the production crew working hard behind the scenes, not only to get this up, but also our Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer reaction that is going to be starring Perry Nemiroff. And yes, we made him watch a trailer. Our own Cobster is going to be on that as well, so check that out. And our panelists up here with me today, Mr. Jon Schnepp, where can the kids find your wizardry?
Well, you can find me later on Heroes. Check it out. You can find me just on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just at Jon Schnepp. And check out the Schnepp Zone on YouTube. I'll be doing some weird stuff there later next week.
And the only reason I am not currently in a psych ward is because I have a great team of therapists led by the one, the only Miss Film Therapy herself, Miss Movies, Brianne Chandler. Where can the kids check you out?
You can find me on youtube.com/missmovies, where you can find Film Therapy. I do it live on Thursdays. Again, not a real therapist, just play one on the internet. You can also find me all day, every day on Twitter at Miss Movies.
Thank you very much, as well as the Schmodown from time to time with some of the best entrances you'll ever see. Another guy's pretty good at some entrances in the Schmodown, Mark Reilly.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Cal the Schmodog.
I am merely Mark Ellis. You guys can find me on Twitter at Mark Ellis Live. I got some upcoming stand-up dates in Omaha and Portland. Get tickets at markellislive.com. We'll see you guys tomorrow for an all-new episode of Collider Movie Talk. Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.